Hello, hello. Welcome to this edition of Real Talk with TAS and OnJerya, TAS Tuesday. I hope everybody is having a great day, a great day. It is so good to be back. I tell you, I didn't know if I was going to get back. I tell you, it seemed like uh, the more I tried to get back, the more something was trying to keep me from you guys. And I'm like, please, let me try and get my voice together. Need to be on with folks because we got to talk about what's going on. We got to talk about it. So I'm trying to bring in my partner in crime, OnJerya. I hope that she is going to be able to slip in. I just sent her a request because she waved at me. So I don't know. She's joined us yet, but it has been a lot happening. I think I was waving at Tina there. Hi, Mona. How are you doing? Hi, OnJerya. OnJerya, are you coming in? I sent you a request. Hello. Hello. Are you guys having a good Tuesday? Mona? Dr. Mona? Makes me think Mona Lisa. Mona Lisa, the most beautiful. You didn't get it? Let me do it again. Let me cancel that one. I'm going to send you another invite, OnJerya. I just sent you another one. Okay, let's see. Well, I'm glad that you are, Mona. I'm glad that you are. Let's see here. Good, Tina. Thank you for joining me, both of you, for joining us tonight. I tell you. Good. Yeah, I had a great day too. It's been so busy and it's like I still am sluggish, but I'm telling myself it's okay because I can't get everything done anyway. It's just too much to be done and I just can't get it all done. So I'm just gonna have to go with it. My office looks like a 2-year-old went through it and just pulled everything down. Everything's a mess, and it's like I'm just gonna have to learn to live with it like that because otherwise, what can I say? Otherwise, it's just gonna have to be. Because if I get hung up on trying to get things in order, what's happening is that nothing's getting done. So, uh, Miss Ajay, it's not working. Well, that's okay then. It seems like I'm going to be here by myself because for some reason something just popped up and said something about 811, and I have no idea what it could possibly be talking about. So, Anjay, that means since you have a degree in computer science, I guess you'll just join me via the keyboard. Stranger things happening. They tell me that Mercury's in Metro, is that retrograde or whatever it's called? And so therefore, what that means, technology is all skewy. So that's just the way it is. Thank you so much, Tina. I am feeling much better. Oh, you know what it is to be down with the flu. Thank you, retrograde. And it is, um, yeah, it was awful. Um, I'm telling you, I think I had the flu many moons ago because I don't take the flu vaccine. But when people talk about that sweating, I was actually sweating. And when I got to the doctor, I'm trying to bring it in, Jay. I don't know what's happening with that. When I don't know. When I got to the doctor, I didn't realize I had a fever. And when I was looking back at the discharge paperwork like last week, it was like my fever was 102.9. And they gave me a Tylenol at the doctor's office. And, I was like, oh, okay. Because they told me it was like 102, but I didn't realize basically it was like 103 degrees. But I didn't feel that bad, but I thought, well, you've got the stuff going on and it's kind of like coming. You might want to go to the doctor. But that night, that Monday night, oh, it all came down. That's when I started having the night sweats and, sweating through the sheets and everything. And it just kind of went from there. But the thing for me was getting over the voice, because I've struggled to try to get my voice back. And so we're going to try it again, OnJerya. Let me try to send you the request, okay? Because I'm going to cancel what's out there, OnJerya. Okay, saying you're unable to join. So I'm going to invite you again. Okay, and see what happens. I just sent you an invite. Oh, you guys had the same thing. You're coming through, OnJerya. You're trying to, so you guys had the same thing. Yeah, and it was so bizarre, Tina, because it started with like a sore throat. Just like grade. It started with a sore throat, and we really thought it was like allergies. And I was like going with what the person was saying, and then it went like I thought that Sunday I kind of had like the beginnings of like a head cold, just kind of tight. But I still, I was kind of going with it. And Monday, like I said, I didn't realize I had a temperature, and but I was coughing. Sunday I started coughing. And then, like I said, when I got to the doctor, I had 102.9 temperature, and they gave me a Tylenol, but they just said 102. But like I said, when I was putting away stuff last week, I'm like, oh my God, I had 103-degree temperature. And so one day they were giving me Tylenol. But what that goes to show, and that's what I want everybody to take away from that. Um, okay, thank you, Tina. What that goes to show, we can be walking around sick and not even really know it. I always tell people I look my best when I am my sickest, and that's the strangest thing. But I always do. I'm looking the best. I'm glowing. I'm looking like everything's great. And the next thing you know, I'm really, really sick. And people are like, well, what happened? My body that's just the way it is. I'm just grateful that I went to the doctor, and they tested for COVID, strep, and the flu. And after the flu had come back, then he went back and tested for strep to make sure I didn't have strep throat. But I had to go back because of the cough. And then I was having bronchial spasms. So they gave me an inhaler last week and prednisone, that miracle drug. That just got me talking better now, and some more cough syrup. So all's well that ends well. So don't put it off, guys. I did not put it off because something said to me, you can go to the doctor. And I went right on, and they went right on and gave me Tylenol and told me I had a fever. And so just imagine if I hadn't gone to the doctor. So, but we're just going to jump right in. Miss O, as the kids would say at the program, something didn't want you to get on. I just don't know what's going on with retrograde.
I mean, I was like, Lord, if this is the sign, I hear you. I hear you. If you're trying to tell me that it is not tonight, I shall
Like,
receive it. Okay. But then obviously I'm here now. So I'm like, oh, the interference with the Mercury retrograde. How many more? Oh. But then it's the shadow period. No, I think it's like it's like the 25th or we still almost like a whole nother week. And then, it's the shadow period thereafter that, you still kind of lingering. So, yeah, I don't know, between the solar eclipse, Mercury retrograde, I mean, just life is lifing.
well,
Life
Lord
is
knows it's
life.
like that. I mean, I was thinking about that. I'm like, we've had so much happening. Like you said, with the solar eclipse, and then with Mercury retrograde, and now we're seeing it with the technology. Um,
Mhm.
it's just, I don't know. I was thinking about tonight, and so many things ran through my brain because so much is happening right now. So many things are happening politically. So many things are happening in our local communities, national politically, global politically. Um, Losses since we've been away. There's so much has happened, and I was thinking, and I was looking for a common thread, and the common thread that came to mind for us was boundaries. And I use the term boundaries because it's so easy to get sucked into everything that's going on. I don't know if you heard me before you were able to come on camera. I was talking about my office looks like a 2-year-old has been in it. And the fact that basically I'm setting up boundaries because I can't get through all that stuff. There's so much stuff up there to be done. And it's like, I got to set boundaries. I can only get so much done in a time block. And that's an 8-hour time block, guys. And you got to set boundaries, but not only do we have to set boundaries with work, but we have to set boundaries with within our personal relationships. I've already said professional relationships, but even with what we let come into our ears and through our eyes and our senses. And so that's what I've been thinking about, as I was reflecting on what's been going on in the world. It's just so much, where I can't speak for other people, but sometimes I'm overly stimulated. I'm overwhelmed because so much happening. And I'm trying to. It's like a buffet. I'm trying to have a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Yeah, I know I've had sleeve surgery, so I can't have a little bit of this and a little bit of that because I can barely smell a little bit of that. So I'm already full. But with the stimuli, sometimes you don't have any control of it. You walk into a room or you click on something, the internet, and it's like you've already gotten it before you even realize what it is. And so I guess I wanted to use that as a jumping off point, Angelia. You know, I don't know if you're experiencing this. I don't want to call it overload, but I feel like my circuits are overloaded. It's just so much going on. And sometimes I'm like, if I get one more email, I didn't say that right. Excuse me. I'm real country with that. If I get one more email, one more, if I get one more phone call. Now, I got a text today and it said, I blocked it, but something about, I don't even know what it said now. But basically, they were reaching out to me to see if I was interested in a job. And I quickly Googled to see if that was a scam. Because I'm like, who are you? I
Right.
don't even know what this is about. And it said that it's a scam that they got, that people will reach out to you by text about a job. I'm like, you can't even. I mean, I know that I get these texts about, are you wanting to sell your property? You still interested in selling your property?
Right.
Well, I don't have no property at that address. So I immediately block those people because I'm like, why are you bothering me? But it's like, if I get one more, and I don't know if you guys ever get those texts, get them phone calls, and it may or may not even be your property, but if I get one more, just one more, I don't know if I'm going to be able to stay upright. I might just tilt over and go over the edge. And I just didn't know if anybody else was experiencing that. And particularly since we're just about to go into May, which is Mental Health Month, Mental Health Awareness Month. And I didn't know if maybe I'm the only one experiencing this sort of like, ugh. What about you, Angelia?
No, you're not, because I'm definitely like that little teapot. Tip me
Okay.
over and pour me out, because my cup done ran over. It's flooded. Don't talk to me. Don't call me. Don't text me. Don't video me. Don't show up.
Okay.
I'm definitely, you know, how should I say this? Life is lifing. And the universe definitely has a funny way of testing you. And yeah, boundaries, they should exist. They're hard to exist. But yeah, working on that. And what I have experienced the last few weeks is that with some people the boundaries are better than others, right? Um, because I'm in my bubble. And for me, when I get in my bubble, that means that I don't want to be bothered. There's only certain people that I'm going to talk to. So, basically, if it's an emergency, like you dying or something, you may want to say, hey, I'm dying, so that I will respond back to you. But other than that, baby, the number you reach is not available. Okay. And yes, the phone is still on, but it's not on as it relates to you, because when we are dealing with our own stuff, it's like sometimes I just can't take on nobody else's. Okay? I'm already bogged down, goggling. Hello, I'm sinking, I'm drowning. Who is going to save me? I can't save you too. Are you going to save me? No, that's why you're reaching out to me. Because you need me to help save you. But if I'm saving you, then who is saving me? So, yes, I agree. Boundaries are very, very, very important to have. They are very hard to establish with people because it's hard for them to understand that I got to put me first, Lucius. I got to put me first, and I'm going to put me first. Because if I don't put me first, then who else is going to take care of me? Nobody. So, no, you're not alone. Like I said, I'm definitely that little teapot, short and stout. Here is my handle. Here's my handle. Here's my spout. The little nursery rhymes. If you remember those, I don't even think they do that anymore with the kids. But if you remember it, yeah, like I'm definitely all poured out. I'm like a Lord. I'm all cried out. I have nothing left to give, and so as a result of that, I have gone off the grid with some people, and they still don't understand what that means. When I say I'm off the grid, I'm on D&D. Do not disturb. When I'm ready to talk to you, I will chitter chatter engage with you. But until then, don't talk to me. Don't reach out to me. Don't call me. Don't text me. Don't FaceTime me. Don't video chat me. Don't message me. Don't do any of that because, again, I think we tend to realize that we're all human and we all got a lot of things going on, some a little bit more than others. And while a lot of people, really don't have things going on for them, they want you to be consumed with what they do have going on. And sometimes you're just not mentally in a place to receive that, right? Because when you are wanting to be that voice of reasoning, you're wanting to be the best version of yourself. Hence the reason why we get sick. Hence the reason why, you start losing your voice. Hence the reason why you start coughing, because that means that's a sign, hello, that you need to start taking care of you because you've been neglecting you because you've been busy taking care of everybody else. So it's definitely nothing wrong with that. And I know for you to say that your office looks like a 2-year-old done been through it, I know it really does look like a 2-year-old has been through there because everything in your office is in its place. So if there's stuff kind of like all over the place, yeah, I know you definitely going through it over there.
I'm going through it, and it's a struggle for me, and I'll tell you, it's hot upstairs. Um, and this is, I should tell this. It's hot upstairs, but I'm not hot. That's the thing. It was like 89 degrees up there just a few minutes ago, and so I turned the AC on because I don't feel the heat, and so I turned it on, and of course I have papers on the bed, on my day bed, and of course one sheet fell off. I'm like, okay, I had turned on the ceiling fan at one point. Well, that was blowing a sheet of paper that bothered me. But once I saw it was like 89 degrees, I'm like, okay, now you're going to have to turn on something because, again, it's 89 degrees. And of course, when I go downstairs, it's a big temperature drop. But of course, I've turned that back up because I'm not hot, but I realize it's hot up there. Also, I cannot have that air moving my stuff around because my stuff is in stacks and it's going to make it more like 3 or 4 2-year-olds have gone through. And for me, that's a boundary because I'm working on a bunch of things and I have to have my stacks right now. But I was thinking as you were talking, OnJerya, and I was many different places as you were talking, and I didn't bring a pen down with me, but
Here you go. Here you go. So you see my
I
pen?
didn't
Here you
bring
go.
a. Well, here's one. I didn't bring a.
Here you go.
There's not a book here in this thing beside me, but there's 2 pens I see in that little drawer. But I'm reminded of something that someone said some time ago to me, and um, what I'm trying to think of the best way to talk about it as I try to get this pen to write, guys. Um, I'm thinking, because you said a lot of different things that I think are very noteworthy. And but basically what you were saying was that people, which is very true. We always, and one thing I don't like about texts and emails is this. People always enter the conversation from their perspective. And you got to understand this. Let me take my glasses off, guys. You got to understand this. And I do this when I'm talking to people because whether I'm talking to them on the phone or whether I'm in person. Because if regardless, I'm in the middle of something. Okay, I'm in the middle of something. Hello, Monica. Thank you for joining us. I'm in the middle of something, and I pick my cell phone up, and I'm multitasking, but I'm focused on those 2 or 3 things that I'm doing, and then I start talking to you. Sometimes I say, "Well, give me just a moment. Let me walk away." Because you see, until I walk away from those 2 or 3 things that I am dead focused on, I don't hear you. I literally hear you, but I don't understand what you're trying to convey to me. And such is the same thing when people are texting or emailing, because you enter the conversation based upon where you are at that moment in time. So when you were talking about boundaries and interacting with people and so forth and so on, we all enter relationships based upon our past experiences and not understanding that your experiences are not my experiences. And even if we've had the same experiences at the same time together, your interpretation of them and my interpretation are 2 different things because we are 2 unique individuals. It happened to you and it happened to me at the exact same time. Your experience of it, how it impacted you, is totally different from how it impacted me. So therefore, we cannot equate them. And it doesn't mean that, oh, I felt like a damsel in distress and you were all strong, or vice versa. It doesn't mean that one person is weak and one person is strong. No, we're individuals. And we have to respect that. But what I find interesting is that it's hard for us to make the shift and respect the person based upon where they are, regardless of where you are, because it really isn't about you. It's about that individual. And I think I'm hearing Sidney Poitier, was it The Audacity of a Man? But I think that was the name of his memoir. But I'm thinking about the strength of a man, the strength of a woman, boy or girl, when they are able to view anything from another person's perspective, objectively, objectively, because I can view it from your perspective, but not be objective. Meaning, I may begrudgingly do it, guys. I may begrudgingly do it, but I see it from your perspective, but I'm begrudgingly do it. But can I actually walk a mile in your moccasins? Which means that it's really going to challenge me to be able to do that. And that's an interesting thing because again, we're talking boundaries and stimuli, and what works today don't work for me tomorrow. And that's what I find interesting also is that people expect you, some people, not everybody, but sometimes people expect that you're not going to ever evolve. Why would I not evolve? I was not put on this earth. I don't believe anybody was. I'm thinking, guys, so my eyes are moving around. I don't think anybody was. I don't think anybody was put on this earth to remain the same. Because if so, why were we not born as adults? Let's think about it. We were born. We got the egg, and we got the egg and the sperm. Then we come out we're born a baby. Then we go through all the stages, the physical stages. Work with me now. We go from a baby to a child, toddler to a child to our age to a senior citizen, and then you die. We are changing, transforming through all those stages. Those we see those physical stages. We're changing also emotionally. We're changing cognitively, intellectually. So I don't believe believe we were brought into this world not to be changed. Hi, Kelly. Thank you so much for joining us. I don't think that we were born not to change. So how can you get upset with me because I'm not the person that you knew when we was in high school? Baby, that was high school. That was 30 years ago. You still that same person. Hmm.
Mhm.
What that say about you? What that say about you? Baby, we've been married 25 years. You still the same person. Guys, I ain't never been married. I've never been married. What does that say about you? If our marriage is in the same place it was 25 years, even if it was wonderful, it could be better. What does that say about us? We should be constantly evolving. So relationships should evolve, whether they're romantic, professional, collegial, it doesn't matter. They should be evolving. And the fact that someone begrudges you for changing and thinks that there's something wrong with you or wants you to believe that there is something wrong with you, that's when they start gaslighting you, make you feel like something wrong with you when there's something wrong with them. That's the problem. Understand boundaries. You gotta understand boundaries because we were not born to not shift. This is not Benjamin Bratt. Was it Benjamin Bratt with Taraji, Brad Pitt, that he was aging backwards? Is that the movie?
I think so. I think
But
so.
again,
Benjamin
but
Franklin.
again, it was changing.
Yeah.
But still, instead of going from young to old, he was going from old to young again. We weren't born into this world not to make changes. So, yeah, I think sometimes it's easier for people to typecast us, keep us in the same place, and the question is why? What do they get out of keeping us pigeonholed in the same place? I take anybody's response, OnJerya. I was in a long conversation with somebody yesterday. I can't talk about it because it was confidential. A long conversation. Uh, what did they get out of it?
Some people are just very sick and twisted, and it's as the saying goes, misery loves company. So it's like I'm not happy with where I'm at, and you shouldn't be either. Because I've made a conscious decision not to do anything with myself, not to grow, not to evolve, not to transform, because I don't want to. I don't want to. I want to take the easy way out in life. Anytime something gets hard or I'm challenged, I immediately shut down and I don't want to do it. But why though? Like life is it's hard, right? We say life is hard, but it's really all about tests, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because every day we're being tested. Like that's why we're here. Like, oh, I'm sorry. You thought when you graduated from high school that baby, you were not going to have to take any more tests. You're absolutely correct. Like you don't have to do any more math and reading tests, but you're constantly being tested. You're being tested with your family. You're being tested in all other relationships, on your job. Ooh, baby. You are being tested. So remaining stagnant is really not an option. I mean, people make it an option, but it's really not. And so, as you stated, yeah, the person that you was back in high school, you're not that person today. The person that you was in college, you're not that person today. I mean, let's be honest. The person that I was 2 weeks ago, I am not even that same person today. Why? Because I have evolved. I have experienced a lot of things, gone through a lot of things. And hopefully, as a result of those things that I have gone through, it was for me, one, to learn, right? Like, good, bad, or whatever. It was for me to learn so that I wouldn't, if it was a lesson of don't do this, I won't do it again, right? Or if it was a lesson of understanding your value, understanding your worth, because sometimes the lessons are not always bad and they're not really always hard. It's just that we don't want to apply ourselves because we think that it's going to be challenging, but it's only challenging if we don't really apply ourselves. So, like I said, misery loves company. And for those people that are perfectly okay with sitting here and woe is me and oh, the world is against me, the people are out to get me. Well, they are out to get you because you're living in the land of Delulu. And that is what you've created the narrative for yourself. But for the rest of us who are like, yeah, that's not going to be my story. Sorry, that's yours. But that's not going to be mine. I have so much living to do because I choose to live versus existing. So it's hard. Like, it's hard when people who are accustomed to seeing you in a certain way no longer be that person, right? Because think about people who are like drug dealers or people who go to prison, right? So the purpose of that is that when you get in trouble, you get incarcerated. The goal is when you come out, you're supposed to be reformed and become a model citizen. Well, for those that actually do what you're supposed to do, they don't want to go back, right? So they put in the necessary work while they're there, whether it's getting their GED, some of them, taking college credits, what have you, so that when they are released, they actually have a purpose, right? Like they're released with the understanding of this is what happened. This is why I'm here as a result
Mhm.
of the choices that I made, and I don't want to go back. So now I'm over here and I'm, taking that street hustle life, and instead of using it for bad, I'm now using it for good. So now I'm an entrepreneur. Well, I was an entrepreneur then. Well, I'm not slanging dope now. Now I'm over here and I have my own landscaping business. Or, I have, I'm doing contracts with the city and maybe I'm the person that is, towing vehicles when vehicles are illegally parked or whatever the circumstances are. But when you come across people who, again, knew you from your past, it's like they're expecting you to go back to who you were. Well, baby, I'm not that person because I made a choice to do better. I didn't choose to stay in a place that I shouldn't have been in to start with. Because if you choose to stay there, really, isn't it your fault that you got to suffer those consequences? Because how can you blame somebody else for you not being happy with the choices that you made? Like, that's one of the things that I've never understood when I've talked to people and they're in that complaining and it's just the woe it's me and the life is so hard. But life is hard because you don't apply yourself. And so I guess my question is, what is it why? Like, I guess it's just why is it that you don't want to apply yourself? Is it fear, the fear of having success, the fear of the unknown? Because again, we're not five, right? So when we were a baby, we didn't have any teeth, right? We just had gums and we were just gumming on everything. No pun intended.
Okay.
No pun intended.
Yes.
But now, we're 13, 14, 25. We have teeth, right? So
Yep.
now it's like, okay, well, I have my teeth, so I can, chew things, I can bite into things. Therefore, I'm no longer that babe. So the same things apply when it comes to, the fear, right? We didn't know that when we were 5, what would happen when we were 25, right? We just knew that, okay, well, when I grow up, I want to do this, that. I want to write books. I want to be a teacher. I want to be a principal. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a lawyer, whatever the circumstances are. That was when you were 5. Maybe when you became 21, you realized that, you know what, I really don't want to do that. Why? Because I don't like interacting with people. I'm not a people person. Maybe writing isn't my forte. So it sounded nice that, I wanted to be this world renowned author, but, I really don't want to do that. And it's okay because, again, you can't remain stagnant because of fear, I guess is what I'm trying to say in a nutshell. Like, if fear is the reason why someone chooses not to grow, you can't be afraid of the unknown because we don't know. Like, right now, we're having this conversation, right? But as soon
Mhm.
as we log off, we don't know what's going to happen. So are we supposed to live in fear? Because it's like, I just want to keep talking to you, Teresa. Because, when I log off, I don't know. I'm afraid of what's to come after this show.
Mhm. Mhm. OnJerya, you said so much, and I'm gonna be like a kernel of popcorn, and it's gonna
Yeah.
sound so disjointed, but that's okay. You made a statement about people applying themselves, and I think you said something about people are out. That people, sometimes folks think that people are out to get them, or
Yeah.
something like that. You said, and I don't think. Well, I mean, let me just say this now. Let me be real. I feel like Joy They sometimes people are out to get you.
They
Don't,
are.
don't ever forget that now. Taz told you,
Yeah.
yeah, sometimes people are out to get you, but sometimes you're out to get yourself too.
Mhm.
And you'll get that. You'll come back and say, Taz, let's just talk about this one on one. Sometimes you're out to get yourself, but you don't even realize it because the steps that you make steps that don't in your at the moment at the place that you are at that moment in time, they make sense. But logically, they make no sense. But where you are at that moment in time, they make perfect sense. But because logically they make no sense, you are making steps that set you back. They don't propel you forward. So you're doing some things, but it's not propelling you forward. So it's not that the man or the woman or society is out to get you. You are actually out to get yourself. Thank you for joining me. You're actually out to get yourself
Mhm.
based upon how you're moving, but you don't realize it because sometimes our minds can be so clouded that we don't realize that we're not thinking straight. We don't get it. And it takes something to wake us up. It's like we're asleep and something has to wake us up. And different things wake different people up, and different things will wake you up at different times in your life. So, again, it's not always that somebody's out to get you, but sometimes somebody is out to get you. But then again, too, sometimes you're out to get yourself in your subconscious, and you move in ways that hurt your progress, okay? That are hurting your progress. Then, Anjay, you were talking about, the fear of failure and, why we just can't seem to get it together,
Mhm.
and several things came to mind. I thought about accountability because
Yeah.
I'm not sure that we are taught. Well, I was having a conversation with someone recently, and I was saying that our daddy taught me accountability before he bought my first car. I didn't realize what daddy was doing, but he did it slowly. It was a gradual thing, and I didn't get it as he was doing it, but I got it for the rest of my life. I think that when I was driving their car, it was like you couldn't have anybody, nobody could be in my daddy's car.
Like in the
Okay.
car.
So I couldn't be driving
Mhm.
around town with a bunch of other people in the car. And so I never did because my daddy didn't play. So I did what I was supposed to do. I never forgot that. So I was never a person, when I was in college, we'd ride, go downtown, whatever. But even after that, I still never just had a bunch of people ride around in the car with me. If we were going somewhere, then, because we're going out to dinner, we traveling somewhere, then the people were with me. If we were in my car that time. But just in general, no, because that's the way my daddy trained me. The next thing he did was he taught me, well, he checked to see if I knew how to wash a car, because he just had me to come out there and wash his car like once. he was washing the car. So I was like, okay. I didn't put up a fuss. I just went out there and washed the car. I thought it was fun. And I still think it's fun to wash the car. And he only had me do it once, I think. So I washed the car. Okay. I didn't think nothing of it. So I did that. Then another time, I think he was showing me how you change the oil. I mean, not change the oil, how you check the oil, see if you need to add oil. And then he showed me how you put the oil in the car. I was like, okay, no big deal. And of course, I know how to do that. And so then I was home from college, and then we went and bought me a car. Well, I didn't know that I was getting ready to get a car. Well, looking back now, I realized what he was doing was he was preparing me. He was showing me what responsibility meant and what I had to do to be responsible if I had a vehicle. And that meant accountability. Well, you fast forward, those lessons never left me.
Right.
I always checked my oil. I always had extra oil in the car. I always put my oil in because I knew how to do it. I would go rinse my car, wash my car at the car wash, and then sometimes I'd wipe it down. I would detail the inside of my car if I wasn't taking it, to what do they call in place, auto bail, letting them do it. Because I could do it because he taught me how to do that. Again, he taught me how to do it with the car.
Right.
My mama taught me how to do it with things in the house because I was taught when you take your clothes off, if you're not going to wear them again, then you put them in the dirty clothes hamper. They don't lay around on the floor. I was taught that. I still live by that, guys. Nothing lays on the floor in my house. I can't take it. I just can't deal with that. That's the reason that little piece of paper flying off my day bed and on the floor, just like a 2-year-old has been through. I don't live like that
Right.
because I was taught that you don't do that. Well, again, that's accountability, that's responsibility.
Right.
That now has transferred into every aspect of my life. So when it comes to doing something, I take that mindset into everything. Now, sometimes that may be a curse for me because I look at things a certain way. Now, somebody calls me, I always get it confused. I think I'm Martha. They call me Martha. I think that's what they call me. Mary and Martha. I think they call me Martha because I always get confused because that Martha is what I think be on them details because that's the way I was trained. But I do big picture too, but I do them both because I'm thinking from both sides of my brain. But the reason I bring that up is because yes, it could be the fear of the unknown, the fear of failure, responsibility, accountability, just not knowing what's going to happen. But also, again, we live in a different type of society now. Everything happens so quickly. So are we even open now to things having to take time? Because we're probably not even microwave generation anymore. What are we now? I don't even know what it is. Is it beam me up, Scotty, yet? I'm a Trekkie. Are we beam me up yet?
Almost.
Yeah, so I need it like now. If I think it, I want it when I think it. So again, because we want it like that, and when we look at people, I hear a friend of mine talk about that shiny object syndrome. Everything looks so shiny. We think that what we are viewing is better than what we have. And lots of times what we see is not even half as good as what you have. But because of how it's presented, it appears to be so much more enticing. We then think less of what we have. So I think that it's such a complex phenomenon that we're living and dwelling within right now. It's not just a simple question when you throw that out there, OnJerya, because it depends upon the person and their lived experiences and experiences that they're currently living and then their past. Because so many things go into who we are as individuals. And no matter who we are, I'm an incest survivor. Lots of different things have happened to me. but I still have to remind myself, don't bring the suitcase with me or the
Right.
ball and change or whatever you want to call it, because it's very easy for it to come with me. And sometimes I have to cut that umbilical cord and say, you're going to have to stay at home or you're going to stay in this room because it's a part of my DNA. And when it comes with me, I'm a different person.
Right.
And I'm different. I'm always different. And understand what I mean by that, guys, because people say, oh, you're not real. Oh, yeah, I'm very real. But it when you are an incest survivor, or if you've had
Yeah.
any type of trauma, I had lots of different traumas. Trauma, they're triggers, and things trigger me all the time, but I never know how it's going to trigger me. I never know what my response is going to be. And so, therefore, I try to, when I was much younger, I put it in a lovely little box, and it's sitting on a shelf. It's a pretty box. But I try to keep it contained because I know I'm going to get triggered. And of course, it goes with me. I'm just illustrating it by putting it in a box. It goes with me. But I decide how I'm going to open that lid and how I'm going to allow it to then come out and play. Because if I
Mm-hmm.
don't, then it may come out too strong. And people will be like, what is wrong with her? Well, the other side of my personality just came out because I got triggered. And it
Right.
doesn't mean that it was something bad that was going on. It could have been a smell, but it still triggered me. It could have been I got a chill and it reminded me of something and it triggered me. So again, it's just so many different things that go into making us who we are, but we're still evolving. Because the way I respond to my triggers now are certainly not the way I did when I was 5, 6, 7, 10, 12, 14,
Right.
21, 30. I definitely don't respond the way that I did at those times in my life. So, yes, I've transformed. I'm still transforming. Yes, I'm stronger. But again, I'm still evolving because I'm a human being. You never stop evolving. You never stop transforming
Mm-hmm.
because, again, to do that, we're going to be transcending somewhere because we're human beings. We're always evolving. And that's, I think that's I don't know. I think that's the hardest thing, OnJerya, if I had to sort of begin to sum us up tonight. I think that's the hardest thing is to get to a place where you really understand that it truly is lifelong learning and we're not talking about academics.
Mm-hmm.
Because we get it when we talk about, oh yeah, got to be a lifelong learner. Our kids have you're going to be learning and learning. And yes, the teachers, they're going to be lifelong learners too. The professionals, we have to keep getting our continuing education so we can keep our licenses and everything. Everything is lifelong learning
Yeah.
because we got to continue to evolve. Yeah, because they're getting those new hybrid cars out, those electric. The car's gonna be flying. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The car's gonna be flying, but even if the car's not flying, it's still lifelong learning. Because
Yeah.
you got to continue to evolve as an individual,
Mm-hmm.
even if the technology don't evolve. We have to evolve because we are different every moment. And I think what that does, though, it throws you off because you mean I got to change too? You mean I'm changing? And it isn't that I got to. I'm
Yeah.
automatically changing. You see, that's the thing. People don't understand when you're in relationships, and it can be family relationship, it could be sibling to sibling, it could be parent to child. Yes, everybody is constantly changing. I'm not the daughter that you had 2 years ago. I'm not that person anymore. I'm just not that child anymore. And I don't have to tell you how I'm different. You ought to be able to see how I'm different. You ought to be able to see how I move, or how I move that I'm different. But now, if I don't see how you moving differently, then what does that say about you? It doesn't matter that you're my parent. If you're not moving differently, what does that say about you? Because I think about some of the older people that I know from my community who are just they are just evolving. And these are older people that could be our parents,
Yeah.
and some of them might be your grandparents. They are just evolving, and I mean, gosh, with the technology, with the social media, and I'm like, Dad, they're probably doing better than me. And it's like they're evolving. So if they're evolving, why shouldn't we be evolving? Those older than them are evolving, and so on, going back down. So why would we think that we wouldn't evolve? And then the question again is, what does that have to do with boundaries? Because as we evolve, our boundaries shift. You
Yeah.
see, because I'm not the person I was last year. That was last year. That's this year. I'm not the person I was yesterday. Because that was yesterday. Things change. They don't remain the same. But the question becomes again, why, for some people, I think it's easier, it's a safety net. It's easier for them to stay where they are and to try to keep you where you are because it gives them a sense of comfort. But I would
Yeah.
hope that a person would not sacrifice somebody else's life in order to feel good in their own space. So let me see if I can say that a better way. Let me see if I can clean that up because I had to clean it up to say it that way. Uh, don't take somebody else's life uh, in order to feel good about your life. Don't rob somebody else of their future in order to to have a life, to live your life, because you're gonna pay for that. I can say it many ways, and I can say it really straight, but I just can't say it too straight, guys. Because you see, I would have to put it. I would have to bear no blame. So whatever, bear no blame. You know,
Blah, blah, blah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I would have to better. But please don't take somebody's life from them because you're gonna pay for that. You're gonna pay for it on this side of the river. You're gonna pay for it on the other side. And people have a way of doing it, and they do it so smooth. You don't even realize they've taken your whole life from you, and you have nothing, but you thought you had something. But they took your whole life, and you gave it to them willingly because you thought you were doing the right thing. You thought that it was in love. You didn't understand they were gaslighting you. You didn't understand they were manipulating you. You didn't understand that everything that they were doing was calculated and it was for their advantage. It was never for you. And when you get a certain age, if you're able to even then comprehend it, you realize you never had a life. They robbed you of your life. You never had a life. You never had an opportunity. And that's an awful thing. And that happens to people day after day after day. So don't do that to folks because you're going to pay for it one way or the other if you're somebody that's doing that. And if you're somebody that's experiencing that, seek help because you deserve better than that. You shouldn't, you deserve better. All of us deserve better. We should not have to stay in a space where we have to give up the essence of ourselves to be accepted or to be with somebody or to be in a group. We shouldn't have to do that. Why? Why? Boundaries. Boundaries. Anything else, Miss OnJerya?
I know, except for honey, don't try to take me with you. I'm glad that you love it there, but I don't. So please don't try to take me with you. And if you try to, uh, please know that I have enough sense, and I hope others as well have enough sense not to fall for the gaslighting and not to fall for the foolishness and make better decisions and always, again, continue to put yourself first. And don't be afraid to put yourself first. Because I promise you, we like it here. We welcome you to the club, putting yourself first club. Not only am I not only am I a member, but I'm the president. You know what I'm saying? So come on over here to the love yourself more, put yourself first, and don't be afraid. Like, don't be afraid because boundaries are good. It sounds like it's a bad word, but I promise you, it'll help you in the long run. And then it'll also help you self regulate, as Teresa would like to say. Because then you'll know, like, because I've set my boundaries, I don't have to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, counting down to hold it together.
No, you will not have to count down to hold it together and self-regulate because you set boundaries. And you're right, when you say it, it does sound like a bad word to set boundaries, but it shouldn't be. And you know, we get so a bill of sale, that's what they used to say, but we get so a bunch of hogwash. Because why should we not set boundaries? You know, I'm gonna say this, guys, and we're gonna go. But this is the way I thought about it. When we were younger, and if this is the way it happened, this is the way it should happen now. If you got children, that is, you got kids, and I'm not saying this is the way y'all got to do it, but if I had kids, this is the way I would do it. If I had younger kids, they got to have designated bedtime, which I did when I was growing up. But once I grew up, all that went out the window. It went out the window. I had a designated bedtime. Have a designated bedtime because mama and daddy got to have their time. So you see, that's called setting boundaries. Because you see, you got to get the kids to bed so that mommy and daddy, or daddy and daddy, or mommy and mommy, whomever, can have some free time. Y'all understand? That's called setting boundaries. So if we can understand it and accept it with that, why can't
Yeah.
we not understand it and accept it when it comes to us as a human being, that we have to set boundaries so that we have the time to be by ourselves, so that
Yeah.
we can think, rejuvenate, whatever we have to do in order to keep ourselves held together so that we can be responsible, functioning citizens. I don't understand why that's such a hard thing for us to grasp, but we grasp it when we got kids and mommy and daddy and granddaddy and grandmama, whoever, big mama, whomever. Big mama just may need some time alone because she got too many of them grandkids around her. We get it then,
Yeah.
and it's acceptable. That's the point. We accept that. We embrace that. But will not embrace it. We're made to feel bad when it
Yeah.
comes to the fact that I need some time by myself. I, I need you to back off. I need you to back off. When I do that and I set boundaries, I'm the bad guy. No more. Never more, said the raven. No, no, no. I'm not the bad guy. I'm protecting my peace. I'm protecting me. And if you don't want to protect you, who else do you think is going to protect you?
Nobody.
Nobody. Nobody. Is that my boy?
That's what
Nobody.
Keith Sweat says.
So, so somebody better pick it up. And if nobody else is going to do it, I got to do it. So again, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Real Talk with TAS and OnJerya. We have enjoyed being with you tonight. And until next time, remember, make sure you take care of yourself first before you take care of anybody else. Bye now.
Bye.
Bye bye.